Want a high-end white tablecloth steak eating experience right at home? Join us at Bid on Beef. Connect with hardworking American Angus and Wagyu ranching families to source your beef from a trusted and reputable source. In a fast-paced and fun auction process, you're in the driver's seat with Bid on Beef. You choose the cuts, you choose the price, and you choose the ranch. Buy with confidence knowing beef will soon be shipped to your door. So savor the win and the thrill of victory knowing sizzling steaks are in your future. Learn more at bidonbeef.com.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning into the Bullpen Podcast. For this episode today, we did something a little different. Actually had the great crew from Hurrdat come out on location, and we went to Ruhlman Steakhouse, which is in Ashland, Nebraska, located right between Lincoln and Omaha. Phil Ruhlman opened the steakhouse in July of 2024. The reason I started going there, the main reason is, well, I love steaks and I love a good meal. But one of the main reasons is he serves a lot of his steaks and beef comes from one of our biggest customers in Nebraska Bull Service in Vogler, Semen, and that is Keneally Angus out of Whitman, Nebraska. So that's where Phil sources a lot of his steaks and stuff. But in this episode, it's what he calls the Ruhlman Experience. He has one once a month, and I felt fortunate enough that Phil asked me to come in and be a part of the Ruhlman Experience. So go ahead and sit back and take a look at this episode coming up. And if you're in the area, make sure to stop out to Ruhlman Steakhouse in Ashland, Nebraska, and have a Keneally steak and enjoy yourself. And they also have specials, Husker Game Day specials and other things, I believe, like on Wednesdays and Thursday nights. He has a great outdoor patio, weather permitting, do some different wine tasting, a lot of different local talent stuff. But Ruhlman Steakhouse, Ashland, Nebraska, is where this episode was recorded, and highly recommend it. Come on out, and really want to thank Phil for having me involved in the Ruhlman Experience. So sit back and enjoy. And if you like this episode, go ahead and like it and share it, and tell your friends about Ruhlman Steakhouse. And we'll talk to you all later. Thanks again.
Well, how did we do on the entrees? Did it? I don't think we've ever had a group that didn't at least 1 or 40 return the steaks to be temped up. So thank you. I appreciate that. The Ruhlman Experience. So I have a theater degree from the University of Nebraska. I ended up using that. Mostly at Gallup for my 32 years. I was in charge of technology, but what I really loved doing beyond building a technology group from 10 programmers when I started, and I'm the least technical person in the world, there were 10, and when I handed off after 22 years, the technology group, we had 340 engineers. But I had 20 amazing, highly technical people that I worked with, and my job was to make sure they stayed in Omaha with Gallup. But what I got to do was, with my theater degree, was create all of the experiences for all of the customers that Gallup had around the world, 2 or 3 a year, these amazing experiences, shows, and for all the employees. And that's what I love doing. When I created a restaurant, I said I didn't want to have something that was just about food. You have to have very good food. Cynthia and Sergio are amazing. But I wanted it to be an experience. The Ruhlman Experience is about wine, food, entertainment, and learning. And now we're going to move into the learning portion. It takes a lot to build something. It takes a lot. At Gallup, I was an intrapreneur. Now I'm an entrepreneur. I've only been doing this for a short amount of time. We have a very, very, very special guest tonight that I want to listen to and learn and talk about. Who are you? What part of your brain said you could create something so wonderful? And I want you all, many of you do know this gentleman. I want to learn more about him, and I hope you all do too as well. So please welcome Les Vogler.
Thanks, Phil. Appreciate you so much.
So let's go back a long ways.
Okay.
Get us to long before you created the company, where you grew up, who you are, who influenced you, who were important in your lives, and if you want, there's nothing wrong with saying if there's some of the people in the room that you want to talk about and introduce.
Absolutely.
Take this time to introduce us to pre-company Les Vogler.
Okay.
Who are you as a person?
That's interesting. Pre-company Les Vogler. Where do we start? Okay. I was born in Lincoln, Nebraska, 1960. Makes me 65. So my folks, both of them, Lloyd and Rosalind, grew up on a farm. Dad worked for the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. Mom was an ear, nose, and throat nurse. She went to Bryan School of Nursing, was a nurse for 35 years. And she went to Hurrdat, Nebraska school. My dad went to Louisville. He went to Ashland. Where did he graduate from, Mom? Louisville?
He graduated from Louisville, but he grew up in South Bend.
See,
Went to schoolhouse, and he went to Ashland for 2 years.
it's my support system, Phil. Right there.
We'll get her a microphone.
Yeah. So, yeah, because obviously we moved to Eagle, Nebraska in 1970 from 1965. Correct, Mom? Pretty close. And we were Dad was a farmer. He never had anything given to him. He had to start farming from scratch. Okay. So he worked for the university, did that. They borrowed some money, bought some land in Eagle, Nebraska. So I went to grade school in Eagle, which is part of the Waverly School District, until 6th grade. 1970, we moved to the current location right now where our main business is. It's on Church Road, which is just south of here, about 7 miles. And it was just a field. We moved in there. Bought it from some neighbors, and like I said, Mom and Dad did this all on their own. They never had anything given to them. We went in there. I remember we went in there with corn knives. Dad looked at the field. He had a vision. We went in with corn knives, and we cut every stalk of corn that was in this field. And he couldn't waste anything. We had to take those stalks of corn and feed them to the cattle that we have. So, and then my uncle came over. He dug the basement, because in those days, and even still now, those generations, they'd like to do everything themselves. So did that, build a house. You know what? Double-wide trailer. Moved in a double-wide trailer. It's still there. They've added on to it, but that's what they live in. Or that's what Mom lives in now, is a double-wide trailer. Everything on that property, it was 80 acres, and it was just a cornfield. Most of the buildings there were built. Dad would design them. My brother Lauren, who is sitting right here, my mom is back there. That's the labor that built the buildings, except for the lab that we worked the Semen thing in, and one other machine shed. Everything else was built by us, and I'm not a carpenter or construction. I don't like any of that stuff, but that's the way we operated back then. Everything was done that way. And before I go too far, I need to make some quick introductions, if that's okay, Phil.
Yes.
Mom, she is just turned 88 in August. Okay. My brother Lauren, just 60, right? Actually, I want. Yeah, he's old, and he got up this morning. I'm not sure what time it was. We had picture day out at Nebraska Bowl Service, and I'll get into this later. He got up probably 4 o'clock, drove 4 hours out to Nebraska Bowl Service to take pictures of stud bulls today. Have any of you taken family pictures? You know how stressful that is? Try getting into a pen with a bull that probably weighs 2,200, 2,500, full of testosterone, and you're trying to get that bull to pose, to get his ears up, to get his head up. You're doing crazy things. You're getting down on your hands and knees. You're making funny noises. And in any moment, that bull may be... I'm surprised to see him here tonight, quite honestly. Because it's the truth. But you know, one good picture will sell semen on that bull. So, but to kind of come back. So we moved there in 1970. I went to Ashland Greenwood High School, graduated in 1978. Lauren graduated 5 years later. I went to University of Nebraska Lincoln 78, and unlike you, Phil, I didn't finish. Okay, so it got to be about 1982, and that's when the farm economy. We think interest rates are high now, folks. Interest rates in the 80s were like 18%. The farm economy was tough, really tough. And like I said, my folks never had anything given to them. They had to buy all the machinery, all the land, and do it. And I'm going to make this short, otherwise I'll ramble on. About in the fall of 1982, I jumped into a gooseneck trailer because my dad had just bought me a heifer for $4,000. The kicker was, if you buy that heifer, we're going to go ashore for you in Louisville, Kentucky, but you're going to come along and help. Little did I know they were going to stick me in the gooseneck of the trailer and drive 10 hours. And then basically slave labor, which is fine. It was all good. While we were at the show, Dad called, said, "Hey, we got an opportunity to buy Nebraska Bull Service." And I go, what do they do? He goes, "Well, they collect semen." I'm like, "Dad, we'd have no idea how to do this." He goes, "Yeah, I know, but think about it a little bit." So a couple of days later, we came home, and a good friend of ours, Dutch Rickley from Murdoch, Nebraska, came to us and wanted to partner with us. And he already had an existing bull stud at his location that started sometime in the early 70s, if I'm correct. And they were trying to, at that time, think about this, in the early 70s, they were trying to sort semen. And what I mean by sort semen is they were trying to sort the male from the females. This was way back in the early 70s. It was way before the time. Okay? They tried to do it, and it was close to working, but it wasn't quite successful. So the gentleman that offered to sell Nebraska Bull Service, we made an offer. As soon as we made the offer, he took it off the table, decided not to sell it. Well, my last name Vogler, which is German. So Dad is always a little stubborn, but he had a vision. He wanted to keep the family together, something for us to do. And with the farm economy going on the way it was obvious that probably wasn't going to happen in farming. So once he took the offer off the table, Dad and Dutch decided, let's just do it on our own. We'll just start. And I'm like, guys, I'm basically at that time a senior at UNL, had 13 hours left to graduate. And I'll be honest, I was a horrible student, Phil. Horrible. So I was there more for the social aspect, meeting people, talking to people. I'll be honest. So it was probably the best thing in the world that happened to me. So we decided, okay, we're going to start on our own. Okay, how are we going to learn this? Got on the phone, we made some phone calls. We went to Kansas State University, and then they sent me to the University of Minnesota, Colorado State University, and boom. Dutch had the building. Mom and Dad laid out the financial part of it. And I think in the fall of 82, Mom, was that when the building was the first lab? Is that when we constructed? Pretty close. I'm pretty close. No, but I got some fact checkers in here tonight, so I got to be kind of accurate. So, But anyway, so we collected our first bull in 1983 with our partner, Dutch Rickley. And that bull was a bull from Golden Link Simmentals, which was a breeder in Dorchester, Nebraska. And a lot of these bulls were imported directly from Switzerland. So we started doing that in 1983. Dutch could handle 15 bulls at the time. And Dutch, I can't remember his exact age. He was probably maybe close to maybe my age, maybe 70 when we started. I'm not real sure. After about 10 years, just the stress of it kind of got to Dutch. And back then, Phil, when we decided to start the business, shake my hand. That's how we started. Mm-hmm. There were no legal contracts. There wasn't anything. Dutch and Dad were friends, and their handshake was their bond. We started the business, and they decided it. So that's how that got started. And after about 10 years, Dutch retired for health reasons and just the stress of it. So then we built everything at our current location on Church Road in, that would have been about, what, Lauren, 92? Yeah. See, I got lots of support out here. So, and we started collecting bulls then, and it picked up, and I'm just going to try to get through this a little quicker. So as we evolved, I mean, and the whole thing about this business, Phil, is we're collecting, what we do is we collect semen from bulls, okay? Let me get that out. And I'll kind of explain how we do that, because it sounds like, oh. But a lot of people just think we go around and breed cows, we do this. No, people actually bring us the bulls, and we have to extract the semen out of the bulls, and then we preserve it, and then we ship it worldwide. That's basically what we do. So to kind of fast forward, our business grew quite well, just by word of mouth and everything like that, and we were expanding. We built the first barn would hold maybe 10 bulls, and then we had 20 bulls, and then we had another room. We could have about 50 bulls at our Ashland facility. And things were going really, really good, and we were really, really busy. In 2017, and maybe a few years before, my brother bought a Jeep. I thought he was kind of goofy for doing that, quite honestly. So, but anyway, there are some Jeep lovers in here. And his good friend, which is sitting right over here, Dean Secchi, they like to go to Colorado, Moab, other places on Jeep trips, and they have a hell of a lot of fun. And it's all about the friends you meet, right? So Lauren was on one of these trips, and Lauren calls, this would have been in August. He said, hey, Nebraska Bull Service is for sale. My first reaction was, Zoe, cover your ears. Hell no, we're too busy. So we're too busy. And then he goes, yeah. He goes, I just wanted to let you know. So, and I told Mom and Dad, and their reaction was the same thing. I think we all slept on it that night. As soon as I got to Mom and Dad's the next morning, I said, hey, we need to think about this. Okay? If we don't buy it, somebody else is going to buy it. There's us, there's the place in McCook, Nebraska, and there's another one up in Gordon, Nebraska. So there's 3 of them in Nebraska. I think 2 days later, we jumped in the Expedition or whatever it was we were driving. We drove out to McCook, Nebraska, pulled into the driveway, and we're like, whew, man, we can never swing this deal. So, but after the realtor showed us the property, and this is the way my mom and dad thought, they wrote him a check for a down payment on the property that day, with a realtor. The next day, of course, the realtor would call and say, hey, you got another offer, you got to up it. So we thought about it a little bit, and we upped it. This would have been in August of 2017. Things happen fast, Phil. Things happen fast. So, and before we did this, of course, we talked to the banker, and the banker says, yeah, you guys are good, do whatever you want, we trust you, we know your business, just do whatever you need. So we, in our minds, thought we had full backing from our financial institution. In 3 or 4 days, I think the other group that looked at it turned it down, so we didn't own, but we had on paper purchased Nebraska Bowl Service by this would have been about the 1st September. So when you do that, you've got to go out and hire employees, get them all in there. And at the time, let me retrack a little bit. My brain goes in many directions here. Nebraska Bowl Service was run by a major corporation for 4 or 5 years. And they did not treat their customers well. And that's why we got so terribly busy. They're not terribly busy. That's why we got so busy in Ashland, because people were bringing their bowls to us and they trusted us. So anyways, Lauren and I have never, maybe you have, I don't think you have, we've never sat down and filled out a resume for a job. I wouldn't know how to. So we've always just have done what we've done. We sat there and we interviewed people to come work for us all day. The most excruciating day in my life. I mean, we're talking about people's livelihoods and that. They're wanting to come work because they were just, I think it was the 1st of July. They had no idea. People come up and boom, they were shut down. They were without a job. Yeah, there were still bowls there. They were taken care of, but they were without a job. So we go interview a lot of the staff and find out, okay, what were you making before? What do you want? And then we had to sort through this. And I don't know about you, Lauren. I was physically and emotionally exhausted at the end of the day because we would always have just been a family business. It was Lauren and Mom and myself. That is it.
Yep.
Because earlier you mentioned a business that it wasn't me, Phil. It was my dad and my mom and my brother. We worked together. And I dare many people to find a farm family that has worked together for, like I said, I'm 65 years, and we still actually get along and like each other. You know? So
I think that everybody in their life has role models.
yeah.
Everybody in their life has heroes. Talk about those individuals in your life that were role models, heroes, that kind of set you on the path with your family. Again, I'm one of 9 kids. Family means a lot. Role models, heroes that set you on the path to build something amazing with others. Who were they?
You know, that's a really good question, Phil. I'm going to be honest. You had to do this to me. My role model is my dad, my mom. My mom's sitting here, you're never going to find a kinder, more gentler human in this world. She is so active, she'll do so much for so many other people before she thinks about herself. And then going back to my dad, and then we'll get on to the other things. Lauren and I, we worked with him every day, and there was a lot of days we got fired. And I'm not joking. You know, you go there, you get fired, you get, you know me. But the thing is, at the end of the day, come back, we were always there. We showed up the next day. And we worked, and we all got over it. You know, so really, outside role models, I really can't say, you know, because what they did was something different. Dad always thought out of the box. Something different. Let's try something different. Let's do something different. We don't just want to be unique. Let's try something different. Don't be afraid to try. You know, don't be afraid to fail if you know. And then the thing is, when we started the business, you know, kind of like you. Your business is called Ruhlman Steakhouse. It's your last name. You're proud of that, right? So our last name was Vogler Semen Center. So you put that, you stamp that on there. You have to be proud of that. You have to put out a product that you're proud of. So, I mean, that's maybe, honestly, those are my role models. That's who I look up to.
Thank you, Les. So, talk about why. We'll get back to the bull business in a minute and that entire topic. But what's with the camera, the microphones, the two gentlemen in the back? I'm not sure that this whole topic is the same as the bull topic, unless you're thinking about last Saturday or Friday night's game.
No, I'm not thinking about last Friday. That's in the rearview mirror.
But what's with the camera, and what are we doing here tonight?
We're moving forward from last Friday, and Saturday cannot get here quick enough. You know, and this is something, you know, and this is kind of goes back to my dad's way of thinking, is thinking outside the box. So the camera right now here, and what we're doing is, back in 2018, I can't remember the dates exactly, but in order to get advertising, I started a podcast. And that podcast right now is being run by Hurrdat Media. The guys in the back, Rico and all the help right back there. So this episode, we're going to record this right now, and it's going to be on the podcast is called The Bullpen. And if you just look up The Bullpen, you're going to find all kinds of baseball stuff, all right? It is what it is. If you want to follow, go to voglercattle.com or Semen Center, whatever. You can find a link there. And also with Hurrdat Media right here is somebody I look up to and trust. And we've become friends, and I'm not afraid to say it. We've become friends. Is Damon Benning, sitting right here at the table. And Damon's partner, Robbie, right back there. I encourage you all, if you're just a fan of good people talking the truth and listening, tune in early in the morning, 7 to 10, Hail Varsity Radio, and listen to these two, and you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to laugh, and you're just going to have a better day. So, but that's this whole deal right here. So you all are going to be on, or you can catch us on a podcast here in the near future.
Wonderful. Thank you, Hurrdat. Really, really appreciate it. And I'll say Ruhlman Steakhouse about 20 times so that it gets in the podcast. First, one of the very first times I ever met Les, he was sitting at the bar after a football game, and he was ordering a tomahawk, and he said, I'm going to need, I think he said 2 or 3 of them. And I'm going, okay, that's a lot of meat. Our tomahawks are about 3.5 pounds. And he was getting one for Damon, who was landing, and then stopping by to pick it up on his way home. Yeah. So Les, you've done a lot of wonderful things for Ruhlman's Steakhouse, Ashland, Nebraska. One of the things that the chairman of Gallup and CEO, who is a great mentor and friend of mine for many, many years, Jim Clifton, said is, you can have the best idea in the world, you can have the best product in the world, but without a customer, you have nothing. Absolutely. You have to generate customers. Absolutely. And you have to keep customers. How do you generate customers for Vogler, and how do you keep them?
That's a great question, Phil. And I'm going to go back to, we put our last name on our product. We started in 1983. We didn't know what we were doing or whatever, but it worked. And the thing is, what we do is when we collect the semen and freeze it, it's not just, it goes to we don't own any of the bulls. These bulls are brought in basically from all over the United States. We have customers from all over, basically all 50 states. The customers bring us the bulls, and we get the semen to them and ship it to them. But if that semen does not work, if they don't get cows bred, they're not going to come back. So our product has to be perfect. Perfect on purpose. And there's a lot more to that meaning I can get to later, but that really didn't hit me till just a few years ago, and it really hit me here the last month. is we need to be perfect on purpose, because it not only affects us, it affects the people bringing the bulls, and then when they sell the semen, it goes to their customers. So if what we do doesn't work, the bull owners, they get phone calls, hey, I'm not getting cows bred. The people they're selling to, it all comes back to us. Now, when you're breeding cows, there's 42 things that can go wrong. But what do they blame first? They blame the semen. So we have to do whatever possibly we can to make sure our product is perfect. Is it perfect all the time? No, but most of the time. So we're working on that. We're always striving, and we're striving to do different things. And how do we get that word out? When we started, it was a lot of advertising and stuff, and then it turned into word of mouth. You talk because you talk to people. Social media nowadays, the podcast has done amazing things for us. So that's.
So you brought some things with you.
Yes.
Don't go into demonstration mode.
No, I do have a prop.
Get your props. Bring the things you brought with you and talk to us about. You said you were going to show some things. So
Yeah.
what do you have for us?
Well, the girls. I mean, my two granddaughters, and I think Zoe. Did you help? I think they passed out some pins and stuff. So just one other story, quick, before we get into the process, Phil, about going to buy NBS, because I think this is an important part. We collected our first, and I'll make this quick. We collected our first bull in October of 2017, before all the liens were cleared, everything else was cleared, so they were still going through all that. In the meantime, the bank that said we could do whatever we wanted to do pulled the rug out from underneath us. That was a sleepless couple of nights. Because we had hired people who were doing this. How we, Mom and Dad wrote a huge check to do that, and now we have no backing, okay? Luckily, I had a good friend that came and said, hey, let's talk. He knew more about us than our local banker knew in the 40 years before. He had researched, he knew. He came to us, and we moved on from then. And they financed us. We got the business going. We closed on Nebraska Bull Service on February 8th, 2018. Okay, now remember, the whole story started. How did we want to get started? We were supposed to buy Nebraska Bull Service, but the guy turned it back from us. We closed everything final on February 8th of 2018, that morning. Lauren was off working his ass off like he always does, semen testing bulls in Columbus, Nebraska, so he couldn't be there. The people that had to sign all the papers drove out to him. You signed a stack of papers about that thick. We did this in Wahoo, Nebraska. It was cold, and my dad's health was not the greatest. His health was okay. His back hurt. He did that. We got done signing all those papers, Phil. He got done. He goes, man, that's the best penmanship I've had in years. He was in a great mood. Came home that night. He called a good friend of ours, Jacob. Said, Jacob, you want to go out for dinner? It was cold. Jacob says, no, I'm busy. Dad went to bed at... what time? About 8:30. At about 8:40, he raised his hand to the air, and his hand dropped. He died of a heart attack. I came into the house that night. Lauren's doing CPR. Laura, my wonderful sister-in-law, is doing CPR. Mom is standing there. I had to grab Mom. I said, let's go in the other room. He felt so comfortable that the business, and this was just a few months later, I think the day he signed it, it was a full circle, Phil. It came back. He had accomplished what he wanted to do, and we moved on. I don't believe in coincidences. Dad was at peace. He wasn't hurting anymore. But what is this? This is 2025, 8 years later. The reason the one bank wouldn't back us because they didn't believe in us. Too far away. You guys can't do that. It's too far away. You tell a Vogler boy you can't do something. Right, Caitlin? We might get hurt in the process. But we're going to try our ass off. And we're going to make it work. And it happened. And the reason I said Caitlin, she's her and a lot of this table right here, Caitlin, Kat, Courtney back there. My circle's gotten a lot smaller over the years. I want to be around positive people, Damon. I want to be around people that make you smile, that bring a good vibe. So, Caitlin's amazing CrossFit coach, nutritional teacher. Catherine, the chief physical therapy. Courtney, amazing. Those two just come back from a competition, Masters Division. They kicked ass. You know? So, actually, Caitlin and Kat, they're going to be going to, where are you going? Copenhagen? Not the kind you chew, Damon. Hey, I've been there. I've been there. I had some friends do this to me. I got sicker than a dog, but it's not. They're going to Copenhagen. They're going to World Fitness Project. They're going to do on. But that's our story. Yeah. I mean, that's how. And to me, it's just like when Dad raised his hand in there. That's a sign. I mean, he was in peace.
Great story. Thank you.
Yeah. You want me to? Can I get a prop out now?
Yeah, let's get a prop out.
Okay.
Did they even deliver the charcuterie boards for dessert? They're back there? I think it'd be a nice place to deliver them. We'll see if that happens. Okay, show some props.
So a lot of people say, you collect semen. They say, well, how do you do it? Okay, it's a lot easier for me now because, like I say, we put our last name on a thing. We have shirts that say Vogler Semen Center. We're pretty handy. A lot of you have them. And a lot of people just think, okay, you just breed cows. No, the people bring us bulls and we have to get the semen out of the bulls. So what do we use? This right here. This is an artificial cow. We'll keep it PG rated. So, and I used to do it a lot, but right now Lauren does it. So, and we collect a lot of the bulls on the loose. Caitlin's been out and helped us. She's a trooper. So a lot of 95% of the bulls are on the loose, and they come over to our mount animals, and they jump, and Lauren will crawl underneath the bull and put this on the bull and collect the semen. Sounds easy, right? Yeah. Imagine just yesterday. I mean, I'm a lot of time I spend up in front of the computer doing other things, except for there's a few times when Lauren's gone, I'll go down and help. I used to do it all the time, so I still kind of know what I'm doing. Lauren said, "Hey, come on down and help. Come on down and help with this bull." We had a new bull come in, and when the bull would mount, he would turn his head and look at Lauren, trying to grab by the sheath. Very good. So you can just imagine the bull's trying to mount, trying to do his business, and somebody's down there grabbing it. So I got down there, and Frankie, the intern or whatever, she was doing all she could to hold the mount animal. So I came down and helped, and Lauren's up there, and I go, and I'm going like, collect him, get him. I said, he goes, I think I'm a little. I said, yeah, you got to be quicker. Quit being so nervous. You should have saw the look he gave me. It's like, but you know what? The next time the bull jumped, he got him. So props off to him. But that's why, and I don't want to get too technical about it, but it's, that's what we do. We have fun with it. We embrace it. There was a time back when we first started, I don't know if any, Z92 Radio, you ever heard of them?
Yep.
Todd and Tyler, they would call Mom in the mornings just to hear her answer the phone. Vogler Semen Center. So one day we come up to the office and she goes, "Do you guys listen?" I said, "No, not really." She goes, "Who are these guys?" I said, "Well, they got a radio show in Omaha." And so they'd call her in the morning just to hear Rosen say, "Good morning, Vogler Semen Center," and they would just. So, it's all. I mean, we embrace it now because that's what That's what happens. That's part of our business. So, but now, like the other day, I think Damon was after Matt's memorial service. I went over to a restaurant and I had the T-shirt on, and the guy saw the back of it and he said, "That's really inspiring." But he goes, "What do you do? What do you do?" I said, "Have a seat." And I said, "It's a lot easier for me just to pull up a video. You take a look at it, then you tell me." And he goes, "Oh my God." He goes, "Let me see that again." So, but you know what? We have fun from it. And Phil, just to get, and I'll wrap this up, but we could not, you know what? The bankers would have been right without the crew, and I can't say this because it's me and podcast, and my crew's going to hear this. Without the amazing employees that we have in Nebraska Bowl Service that do the work for us, and I don't micromanage. I trust them. We have the best employees in the world. They get up, they'll start at 3 o'clock in the morning feeding the bulls. They'll start collecting. That first collection is on the table at 6 o'clock, and they can hold 200 bulls out there. We can hold 50 in Ashland. We're producing a little over 1 million units a year, shipping it worldwide. We've got customers, 44 farms in Texas. We got customers from California. 44 farms in Texas, by the way, serves all the meat to Walmart, sells all the meat to Walmart. So when I hear people say, "I don't want to go to Walmart to buy meat," come on, people, relax. Get over yourself, you know. Now, granted, here, this is Keneally beef. And the Keneallys are our top customers in Nebraska Bowl Service. That's why I started coming here, because you serve Keneally beef. And I wanted to support them, and I wanted to support you, because you took a leap of faith. You jumped. And I appreciate that. I appreciate people. And I appreciate walking into Ruhlman Steakhouse. People have a smile on their face, and I see the same people, and they serve you, and they do an awesome job. And that's who I want to do business with. I want to go, and that's why I go to this group over here. You walk into any of their businesses. If you don't walk out of there feeling better than when you walked in, your blood's not pumping. And that's what my circle is. As I've gotten older, I'm going to be around people that are positive, that are like-minded, and will put a smile on your face when you walk in, and you have a smile on your face when you leave. My manager out at NBS, his saying is, "You only have one chance at a first impression." It's very true. But you know what else? You only have one chance at that last impression when that person is walking out the door, because you never know when that last impression is really going to be the last impression. So put a smile on their face. Treat them kind. Do what you can. Don't worry about the money. The money will come. If you treat people right and put out a good product, don't worry about the other stuff, because it will happen. And I couldn't be more blessed to have the mother, the brother, my father, my family, my daughter, my God, and my wife, Susan. The support. Mel, would you please stand up? Please. Susan, just for a second, hon. I know. So, and Laura, because you're part of this too. Okay. Trevor, my son-in-law, is here. Without a supporting family, none of this could happen. Okay? Too many times in businesses, especially farm-related businesses, the brothers or sisters or whatever, they don't get along, something happens, and boom, blows the family apart. The wives come in and blows things apart. We're not going to let that happen, okay? And then y'all met my 2 granddaughters walking around, and they're 2 of 7, I have another daughter back there, Heather. She's the oldest. A little story about her. She started out working hairdresser, and then she worked in the prison, and then she was then she started a daycare. So she went from the prison to the daycare. Yeah, she got an amazing story. Yep, they're all great. So that's pretty much my story, Phil.
Well, it was a great story and a great experience. And I learned a lot, and I truly appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
And I appreciate everybody that came tonight. This is why the Ruhlman Experience was created, and it was a wonderful, wonderful time that we spent in learning more about you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Phil. Man.
A Hurrdat Media Production.